This is Diamond from Diamond Shine Soap. Guys, I'm so happy to see you today. Today we are going to start our Christmas line.
Give up or you're thirsty for more?
Okay, so during the Christmas months, y'all know I love making candles. So now we're going to start making a lot of cute candles. And so these are the pots that we will be using. They are so adorable. We're going to be using these. I'm going to wrap these with some red bowls. I mean, listen, this is going to be a very cool project. Now listen, I know you're going to want the wick size. I know you're going to want the link to where I brought the pots, but I do not put this stuff on YouTube. I love when people practice safe candle making. So because of that, I've created a Patreon where you guys can come in there and talk to me in the chat. I have so many candle making recipes, skincare recipes. You get help from people in the chat. You get help from people on the platform. I answer your questions. I give you wick training. I give you coaching. I give you candle making, whereas though you guys can come and meet up with me on a Friday. Sometimes we do it during the week and we'll just make candles together. You can come and ask so many questions. The last thing I want you to do is to get on here and to just be making candles and just burn somebody's house down, because it's that serious. So get in the Patreon, you get all that you need, and we are going to just go from there, okay? All right. So let's talk about what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be using these little pots. Now these pots are normally used to make flowers, okay? So they're like little flower pots. They actually have a hole on the inside. And so you cannot just use these pots because they will turn into fire. Like the whole pot will like literally set on fire. So is I pretty much coat these pots, I fill them, and then after that you could use them for a candle. But if you do not do that, you just basically say, oh, I'm just going to use these pots, you'll have a whole fire, okay? Everything you need in the Patreon as far as the materials that we'll be using, every single link, all of that. Let's go ahead and get right into it, okay? All right. Okay, guys, so these are some really small holes on the bottom of our terracotta pots. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to coat the inside. Coating the inside is very important just to ensure that your pot do not catch on fire. Just like a concrete candle, it definitely have to be coated. So you're going to do this about 3 times. You're going to leave it overnight to dry. Now, when I say 3 times, you put it in there 1 time, walk away, leave it for about 30 minutes, do it again, then come back again, do it again, and then you are finished, okay? And that is how you make sure this thing do not turn into a wildfire, all right? Now, as you notice, we have these little tiny holes on the bottom. We're going to fill those little holes with some silicone. Now, before we do that, we're going to apply some tape just so we can make sure that we have a nice, smooth application, okay? So let's go ahead and bend that tape, because the last thing you wanted to do is to stick to the sides, and then it'll pull your paint off the side of your pot, and that will not be cute. So go ahead and bend that tape, or just make sure when you do it, you cut yourself a very small piece of tape so that you won't have to go through the things that I went through, okay? All right. Now, you're going to put a little tiny bit of silicone on your finger. I mean, just like a very small amount. And you're going to take that and you're going to stick it in there. You're going to push that silicone into that hole, okay? You're going to take your finger and you're going to push it in. I used way too much silicone on my glove. I ended up having to wipe it off. So just know a little goes a long way. So you should not be able to see nothing but the silicone sitting on top of that hole, and do your best to press it into the hole, okay? This is my last coat that I'm applying. After this, I'm going to leave it out to dry. Now that it is finished drying, I'm going to go ahead and grab my wicks. Now, it is very important that I under wick this because I don't want it to burn too hot. Now, one thing I did notice about these pots is they are very fragile. And if you use wicks that are way too big and burn too hot, yes, they will crack even with you sealing them. So I'm using a whole lot of hot glue. I'm actually filling up the whole wick tab with hot glue, and I'm going to take that and I'm going to press that into my pot. Now, the reason why I'm using so much hot glue is because I want to give it like an extra layer of security, because I do not want my wax running out this pot. That's just me. You know, the silicone is good, but I just wanted to make sure. The next thing we're going to do is when everything is dry, we're going to go ahead and pull off the tape. And as you can see, it's nice and sealed. If you can look into the hole, it is dry and nothing is going to leak out of this pot. I mean, it ain't nothing coming up out of here. All right. Now let's go ahead and add our fragrance to our wax. And then we're going to pour into our terracotta pots. And after we do that, we're going to allow it to solidify. And that is when we're going to get down to the fun part. Now, I already had these little cute embeds already made up, and I made these out of paraffin wax. They are so pretty. I love the colors, nice and vibrant, guys. We're going to allow the top of our candles to fully solidify, and then we're going to add our embeds. Now, sometimes trimming that wick can be kind of ugly, and this is actually one of those times. Went ahead and took a small wooden skewer, and I began to wrap my wick around it, just kind of twisting it. Now, when I sell it, you know, of course, I'll tell my customer to trim the wick, but it just looks so much better like that. So I'm adding my embeds, and with this particular embed, I went ahead and poked a hole through it so that I could put the wick on the inside of it. All right, so now I'm adding my embeds to my second candle. I went ahead and took a heat gun and just kind of hit the top just so that those embeds could stick to the wax. And it is perfect. It is finished, guys. I love the way these candles turned out. They are so cute. I actually just like them just because of the actual pot itself. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and roll down my wick, guys, and now I'm finished. Go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, get your behind up in the Patreon if you want to learn how to really make candles, or you just keep playing around and experimenting and wasting money. You can have it your way like Burger King. All right, I'm waiting on you. I'll see you over in the Patreon. All right.